Hey, Detroit, this is TJ Henfield, and I'm with my co-host.
Kimmy Kimet.
What's up, Miss Komet? How are you today?
I am well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I cannot complain. Today's a beautiful day.
Beautiful day.
Yeah, man, we've been getting some great weather here in the city, and so glad you could join us tonight on 313 Unscripted. Okay, we got a lot to unpack. And we're going to get right to it. But again, I just want to thank all of you for tuning in the last few weeks. And we got a lot of things we're going to talk about, some stuff with Trump. And again, I just want to thank all of you. We're also going to talk about uh, the movie One Heart. We're going to talk about One Heart tonight. Yeah, One Heart. That's a great movie coming out. You guys don't want to miss that. That's coming up this coming weekend. I believe the date is the 17th, Saturday. I think that's what it is. Listen, you can call in with your comments. You can also comment on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. All right. And our phone number to comment, if you want to call in and get your point across, the phone number is an easy one. It's 313-859-8858. Let me give it to you again. 313-859-8858. You can call in. All right. Well, listen, I've had a busy day, and I was anxious to get here. I'm excited about this program tonight.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. So look. What's first of all, before we get started, what's going on with you? You got that look in your face.
Oh, what look do I
Yeah,
have?
something exciting happened with you. I mean,
No, I just feel like we might be about to stir up some trouble today.
oh my God. I don't know what to say about Kimmy. She always has a surprise. Well, listen, like most of the news casts that we hear on TV and we watch a lot, there's no news like the Trump news. And boy, Donald Trump, I tell you, I'm not so sure. I just wonder how many people are now, regretting, and I'm talking black people, how many black people are regretting their decision to vote for this man. I mean, my God, he's done some things that I think are just, it's unfortunate.
Outrageous.
It's outrageous. How about egregious?
Oh, blasphemous.
Blasphemous.
No, I'm not a teacher like TJ. I don't know all the big words.
You don't have to have all the big words. Just speak from your heart. Speak from your heart. This week, Donald Trump, and I think it's not just this week, it's been a while, but Donald Trump fired several black people. Dr. Carla Hayden, the first black and first female librarian of Congress, was fired before her 10-year term was up.
Wow.
Yeah, and check this out. The guy who held this position prior to her held the position for 30 years because it's an apolitical position. It's not about a Democrat or a Republican. And he fires this black lady from the job. This is part of his sweeping legislation and policies about DEI. And I'm really beginning to wonder about this MAGA stuff, and let me see who else. The dismissals also include General Charles Q. Brown, a black man, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This guy was chairman. He's over the entire Army, Air Force, Navy. He fires this black man. That's a nonpartisan military advisory role. And again, it's not about Republicans, it's not about Democrats, but he fired them. Was it about them being black, I wonder?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alvin Brown, member of the National Transportation Safety Board, he was fired. Charlotte Burrows, chair of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, an agency meant to enforce civil rights law impartially enforce civil rights. He fires her. And of course, Susan Rice, you remember her, board member at the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. And then finally, General Talita Crossland, Director of Defense Health Agency, and Gwen Wilcox, member of the National Labor Relations board. All these people were fired. These are all Black people that are now fired. They don't have jobs. They're gone. Okay. Now I'm just saying to myself, what is it? I mean, this is a
We
sweeping.
know what it is.
Yeah. And I think people for the most part are they afraid to really say what it is? I mean, this stuff is ridiculous. And for me, I can see that for me, I see racism spiking more than it has recently, but it's now spiking again with Trump in office. And so when you look at this whole MAGA thing, man, MAGA is not working for Black people at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we love to say that racism doesn't exist anymore, that it's not prevalent, but it is 100%. A young lady went on CNN and she said she don't like niggers. Excuse my language, but she said she don't want to live with them. She doesn't want to be around them.
Yeah.
She proclaimed herself to be a racist.
Wow.
And she said, if you act like an animal, you do these things, blah, blah, blah. Why would I want to be around you? Why would I want to be in the same community? But the thing is, when we were thriving on our own in Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and things like that, you take away from what we have. Mm-hmm. So we can't thrive on our own. We can't thrive in equality. Where can we thrive at?
Yeah. It's pathetic. It actually is pathetic.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, when she says she doesn't want to be around animals, I think there are many white people who have acted like animals. And
absolutely, it's in every single race. But they love to paint us a certain type of way. Like they love to say, "Oh, Black on Black crime" and things like that, and we kill each other. Do you ever hear about white on white crime? Chinese on Chinese, Mexican on Mexican? Like that's not a thing, but Black on Black crime is a thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ridiculous.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. And Trump is doing his thing, of course, and he's becoming more and more wealthy. He and his sons and his family. I mean, they're doing all kinds of things. He was offered a $400 million plane to replace Air Force One. And he said he would be stupid to reject it. Okay, so my question is America being bought? That's because it certainly seems like it to me. Is it? This is a plane. I mean, think about this for a moment. You don't know what that plane is all about until you take it apart. Mm-hmm. From what I understand, and from what I've read, it to be able to retrofit this plane, to take it apart, put it together again, make sure it's safe for the American president, it's going to cost somewhere about $1 billion.
Wow.
Now that's more than twice as much as the plane is actually costing right now. So this is crazy when you start to think about it. And my question is, have Black Republican politicians who have supported Trump, have they been fairly rewarded for their efforts in getting the Black vote? Okay. Black MAGA, I'll say it like that, Black MAGA, however you want to pronounce it, is a complete failure. Mm-hmm. And when I think about Black officials like Byron Donalds and South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, these people were very much seen basically supporting Trump on the campaign trail. And their goal was obvious. They were trying to boost the Black vote for Trump and hoping to either be a VP hopeful or at least have a seat on his cabinet. Well, here's the deal. Trump won, but they lost. If you look at Trump's, you look at his cabinet right now, or the big meetings that they have, nothing but a sea of white people. That does not properly represent America. And I'm not going on here saying that I'm a racist and that I'm not for white people. No, I'm for Black people. I'm for white people. I'm for all people. If it's not fair, then it's racist. And I don't see any equality. I don't see it being on par across the board with the Trump administration. And so when I see those cabinet meetings, and by the way, I don't know if you've ever seen one of them, but man, it's like they're all sitting around this table and they're all saying, Mr. President, we are just beautifully happy that you are the president and that you're doing such a marvelous job. And we just appreciate you so much. And then the next person says almost the same thing.
Yeah,
they're like
absolutely.
zombies.
They are, and they love to monetize on Black people. I mean, we are always the ones that pay top dollar for everything. Like every single culture, white people, Chinese people, they profit off of Black people. What did Biden say when he ran? If you don't vote for me, you're not really Black. Like, what kind of comment is that to say? But when we voted for Obama, all the Black people were like, "Oh, you're just voting for him because he's Black." Well, obviously, nobody had to question it because we've only had white candidates.
Right.
What are we talking about here?
Listen, Trump spent weeks putting together his cabinet choices. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He only nominated one Black person, and that was an ex-football player and motivational speaker whose name was Scott Turner. Now, come on. We can't do better than that. Nothing against the brother who's an ex-football player, but come on. And what about the estranged North Carolina candidate, Mark Robinson? This was the guy who had a lot of quotes about Nazism and lining up with them and whatever. This ridiculous. The people who are supporting these and other Black supporters of Trump were taken advantage of. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't feel sorry for them at all.
I don't either. I call them Oreos.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for Oreos. What's an Oreo?
You Black on the outside, but you want to be white on the inside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I saw the Black on the outside. I don't know if I ever saw the white on the inside.
Hey, they feel like that. They feel like they can, they can pass and be a part of that group, but they know, or they see now, that it will never be that.
When you listen to some of these guys, they try to sound like Trump. They try to have a personality like Trump. They want to be a performative person like Trump. They want to be very theatrical. Well, you know what? That don't sit well. And I'm gonna say it just like that. That don't sit well with Black people. We can see right through that kind of mess, and it is ridiculous. And I'm telling you, something needs to change. Tim Scott's passion now, and this you know who Tim Scott is, right? That's the guy that sort of has the large eyes, and he's from South Carolina. But anyway, according to him, his passion right now is to maintain a majority Republican Party in Congress for the entire 4 years of the Trump president.
Of course.
Okay, so here we go again. Wow. We still get all of the dirty work while they get the glory jobs and the big bucks.
Of course.
So you want to make sure that Trump has a majority in Congress after 2 years, because the 2 years, the midterms, things kind of shift. Most presidents. So his main passion now is to make sure Trump doesn't get a Democratic Congress or whatever else. What is wrong with you, Tim Scott? The man didn't look at you. He didn't give you anything, but you want to continue to work for him and make sure that the Republicans are there for his entire 4 term. He has done nothing for you, Tim Scott. Tim Scott, I hope you're listening. You're oh my God, don't let me. We, like I said before, we do all the dirty work and they get all the big bucks. Okay, yes, master, yes. Dumb. That's just plain dumb.
Of course.
Absolutely dumb.
We got a couple comments too.
Who we got on here?
Fred Caldwell said the employees of 3 Library of Congress was reported to have pushed back and locked the doors of the library. That's a position that's controlled by Congress. He also said that if that had been anyone else accepting that, the Republicans would have had a conniption fit for accepting gifts of so much less.
Yes, I mean, that is so true. And I go back to the whole airplane thing. You want to accept a gift from Qatar. Some people call it Qatar, but Qatar, and of course we do have military bases there. But when you think about that whole region, the stuff that's going on, and you think about that Trump went over there and did several business deals for his family. They have this big Trump tower or Trump hotel that they're proposing to build. I mean, he's just enriching himself on the American people.
And it's ridiculous because how long have Air Force One been in the presidency? For centuries, and now you want to switch things up. It's all about you. Now you want to bring, like, how about we invest that money into into the pilots and the airlines and things like that who have been having all these crashes lately and things like that. You wanted to fire everybody. Like, how about you invest that money into that? It doesn't make any sense.
But let me go back to Donald's for a moment, because Donald's went on record saying that Black people would be better off if we were in the Jim Crow era. And I'm saying to myself, what is wrong with this man? Some people think that Donald's is going to make a run at governor of the state of Florida. Well, Mr. Donald's, good luck. Okay, good luck on that one. I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think that's going to happen. Okay. So, and whatever happened to Trump's platinum plan for the Black community? He had this big platinum plan, $500 million plan that he's going to pour all this money into the Black community. And I think that went up in smoke, and poor Ice Cube. Okay. He got caught in the middle of this all, because what happened, he went to the Democrats, and for whatever reason, he says they snubbed him or whatever else. And then he was going to meet with the Republicans and Trump. Well, he never did meet with Trump. Okay. Sorry, Cube. That just didn't happen. And so he met with one of Trump's surrogates, and so maybe he should just stick to rapping or acting. Remember how they told LeBron? They told LeBron, just be quiet, LeBron. Stick to dribbling.
Stick to dribbling.
And dribbling that fast. Wow, that's just how they look at us, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
And look, I'm not trying to propose that as Black people we should become violent, or we should do the kinds of things that just create a total uproar. If they're wrong, I don't advocate that. But we do need to stand up and recognize when somebody is for us, and recognize when somebody is against us. How can you dare allow yourself to vote? And I know we've got some Black folks out there that you voted for Trump, but all I'm saying to you is that he's had a great opportunity to do something good for the Black community, and he's done nothing. Had a great opportunity to leave some people in office, appoint some people who certainly are well qualified, and certainly hasn't done. So my question, does anyone out there still believe that Trump has Black people in mind for financial achievement and success? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
Don't think so.
Absolutely not. They love us to shuck and jive for them, but other than that, when we start stepping out of place, then it's like, oh, hey, get back in your place.
Get in your place. Get in your place. Listen. Let me get the number again, because you might want to have a comment in terms of what we're talking about. Again, the number is 859-8858. Okay. But, I grew up a little before you, not much before you, but a couple of years before you. Oh, so you got that smile. She's cracking up. She said, sure, TJ. Okay. All right.
A couple of years.
Okay. I grant you that. But I grew up in the John Wayne era and the Errol Flynn era. And admiring these white actors, and unfortunately, many of them were racist.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I didn't learn this until many, many years later. And but look, to each his own, I guess. But we need to grow up as a people and understand what we need to do in order to change things and secure our position in this nation. Because Trump right now, by the way, he's bringing in refugees, if you will, from South Africa. These are white refugees who have said that they have been attacked, they have been mistreated, and whatever else. But he's got thousands and thousands of Black Africans who have been mistreated. Many have been killed trying to get in this country. And what does he do? He brings in a bunch of Afrikaners, people who are white and look like him. That's President Trump for you, my friends. President Trump, your president. You're no, not your president. Okay.
Not at all.
All right, all right.
Not at all.
She says, "Not mine, not mine." All right, listen. I have a friend who has a movie coming out. I want to talk about that movie for a moment, and we've got a couple of other issues that we are going to cover when we come back. Gonna see if we can cut in on that luxury home commercial if we can, and if we can, we'll be right back. Okay, with more from 313 Unscripted. Hey guys, listen, this is TJ Hempfield again. I'm over here in Oak Park, okay, on Coolidge at Luxury Home Furniture. I told you before, this is one of the best kept secrets in Metro Detroit. The furniture here is gorgeous. You cannot be disappointed here. Check out all of this beautiful furniture. Look at it. You're talking about styles. You're talking about color. You're talking about prices. Everything is just right. And listen, if you like leather, check this out. This leather is so beautiful, soft, comfortable, okay? And the price is right. Get over here. Listen, by the way, follow me. Come on, follow me. Everybody is approved, okay? The credit is great. People are friendly. You can't miss out. I love coming in this store. Oh, and check this out right here. One of my favorites, okay? Luxury home furniture. The place is gorgeous. The furniture is right. The price is right. And listen, if you tell them TJ sent you, you not only get the great discount, but you get a free 5x8 rug, okay? That's just a gift from Luxury Home. Get over here now. 20830 Coolidge Highway, right off 8 Mile. Tell them TJ sent you. Peace. All right. That's Luxury Home Furniture. Now listen, you've got to get over there. You have got to get over there and see my man Cal or Ed. I don't know if you've been to that store.
Not yet.
Okay, let me tell you, when I walked in that store a couple of years ago, and to me, it was the best kept secret in Detroit Metro. I mean, the furniture is absolutely gorgeous. The prices are right, and they treat you right, you know. And that's what I enjoy. I bought some furniture that I actually still use today.
Good.
You know, so you need to get over there.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah, and if you do, just tell them I sent you.
Oh.
And you'll get the big discount.
What did I say? I know TJ and Hempfield.
There you go. and you'll get that 5x8 beautiful rug as a gift from the owner. So just make sure you get over. That's in Oak Park. They got a store in Detroit. They have one in Redford, Madison Heights, and Dearborn Heights. Again, Luxury Home Furniture over there. Okay. Now, I want to talk about Ed Gaines' new movie. It's called One Heart, and I wish Ed would just call in for a moment and tell us a little bit about it. I don't know if he's listening or not, but look, that movie's coming up. It's a beautiful love story. Now,
I think it's called Old Heart.
Old Heart. What did I say? One Heart?
Yeah,
Old
Heart.
I'm sorry. Old Heart. I've said One Heart a few times, and Ed's corrected me in the past, but no, it's Old Heart. After 60 years, this guy meets back up with someone who just had his heartstrings. You know, the thing is that
60. Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to see a great movie, and I'm talking about a great movie, not the typical stuff. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. It's not all the sexual stuff and the cussing and the shooting and all that. Nah. Great story. This particular film, Old Heart, and you really want to check it out. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're getting Ed on the line right now. So just bring that over a little bit closer to your mic, and Ed Gaines, are you there, my brother?
Hey, TJ, how you doing, man?
Okay, I'm doing great. I'm doing great, man. I cannot complain. Tell us about this movie.
Man, I worked on a movie last year, and it's entitled Old Heart. One Heart, Old Heart. And it's coming out for a sneak peek Saturday at the at the Redford Theater. I did this stage play a couple years ago, and they wanted to turn it into a movie. It's based on a true story, and I played the lead character of Tom Johnson, and it was a very exciting experience, and I can't wait to see it. I just can't wait to see it.
All right.
I don't want to give away too much of the movie, though. You know.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. But let me ask you a question though. Why should people come to see this movie? Why?
It's history. That's number one. It's history. Um, you know, earlier you were talking about Donald Trump and how he's getting rid of blacks doing this and doing that. This is history. I mean, he's attacking the museum down in Washington and any other place that has anything of our history. A lot of people don't know about the Red Ball Express drivers. They know about the Red Tails, you know, the pilots that flew the planes that protected the bombers going over, but nobody knew about the Red Ball Express. These guys drove trucks at night full of gas and bombs and ammunition and food, and they did it in the dark, you know, and constantly under fire. And they got if they hadn't done what they did, they would not have won that war. They would not have won World War II.
I got you.
They would not have won it.
I got you. Well, listen.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Continue.
It's, you know, and then it tells about, you know, people as they age in life, you know, where they reach that point in their life when, you know, the kids, I think it's best for you to be in assisted living and stuff like that. And, you know, just because you get older don't mean you give up on life. You have to keep moving. Body in motion stays in motion. When at rest stays at rest. So, you know, just because you get older don't mean you need to sit down. You need to keep moving at all costs.
Hey, were you looking at my
I was just gonna say that.
My post earlier today?
You know what? Honestly, TJ, but that's always been my slogan. And I got it off a TV commercial.
Okay.
You know, they you know, but I did see that, and I agree with you 100% on that. Right. You got to keep moving.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, this hurts, that hurts, but you got to keep it moving.
Well, listen,
you know, because a lot of people can't get up and do anything.
Right. Well, listen, I am very excited for you and this new movie because you know, a lot of people are going to be there to see it. Oh, Heart, and it's going to be something I think that's going to be very impressive. I think people are going to enjoy the story. We need more movies that have great stories, and we're not just getting excited over.
And this is a sneak peek. This is a sneak peek because it's only going to be shown one day. Okay. Because the actual premiere is going to be in the Netherlands.
Okay, all right,
wow.
The Netherlands. Okay, so this is a sort of a premiere sneak VIP. Okay. Now, where is it playing and how much are the tickets?
Redford Theater, Grand River and Lasser. The tickets are $15. If you want to do VIP, it's $45, but you can go online and you get meet the cast, meet and greet. They have refreshments there and all those kind of things. You can take pictures and all that type of thing. I will be there, and some of the cast will be there also. So the cast that were in Muskegon, they will be there.
So the regular price is only $15. Man, where have you heard that before? That's a very good price for a premiere. Well, listen, man, we are going to support you. We're going to be there, and I want all my viewers and listeners to come out to the Redford Theater, right there on Grand River, right off of Lasser, right off Grand River, I should say. And it's going to play at what time is again?
What day and time?
It'll be this Saturday. The VIP starts at 6, and the movie starts at 8.
All right, so you've got sort of a red carpet thing going on at 6 o'clock, and again the movie at 8. Ed, thank you so much, sir, for
thanks for having me.
Absolutely,
I appreciate it. I look forward to you people being there. It's a show that you really will enjoy. I promise.
All right, we look forward to it, and we'll hold you at your word.
Okay, take care.
All right,
bye.
And that was Mr. Ed Gaines, one of the stars of Oh Heart, and he's right here from the city of Detroit, not out of Hollywood or Atlanta or New York. You know, there is some great talent right here in the city of Detroit. We're going to have a segment where all we talk about are the great people of Detroit who are doing movies, who are doing plays, and they got all kind of beautiful stuff. I know my friend Sherry Gay has a play coming out in October. She's got all kind of stars in it. It's going to be playing at the music hall, and it's called One Harlem Night. So that's making a lot of noise. A lot of good things are happening in the city of Detroit. So we're going to have a segment where all we talk about is Detroit talent, writers, producers, directors, Joe Smith, people like that. I mean, these folks are doing their thing, and I applaud them. I'm happy for these young people who are doing such a great and wonderful job. And we're going to be seeing your face in the movies pretty soon.
I hope so.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to jump a little bit and come back to a story about Michael B. Jordan. But right now, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with Sean P. Diddy. Okay. Sean P. Diddy Combs. And he's in a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he's in a lot of trouble. And my question earlier today on Facebook, I put it out there. Do you think that P. Diddy will avoid jail time? What are your comments? What do you feel about that? Okay, he's facing charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, conspiracy and transportation to engage in prostitution. The sexual parties are known as freak-offs. And I want to know what your thought is out there. Make sure you call us at 313-859-8858. But again, this is really crazy. And I think it's a situation where his attorneys, they had admitted that he's not a good person as such. But what they were trying to say is like, look, he's not being charged with some of the things that you think he's being charged with. He's being charged with this whole thing about conspiracy and racketeering. That's what he's up for.
Yeah, I will say that although I think he needs to be under the jail because I think he is a predator, I do think that he hired a good lawyer from what I'm seeing, the cross-examinations.
Okay.
I do question how they're going to bring in the racketeering because racketeering has nothing to do with these parties.
Okay.
So I do question that 100%. But I definitely do not think he's going to completely get off at all, especially for the sex trafficking charges. There's too many people out there that have too many stories about him. He has videos and everything because people like that, they like to assert their dominance. And asserting your dominance on camera means, hey, I have control over you. Right. This is, you're under my thumb, you're under my nail. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I don't know. It's the first couple days, so it's like up in the air. But I'm questioning the racketeering, but I do feel like the other charges are definitely going to come down on him.
Okay. Well, listen, I have on the phone right now Stacy Johnson, who is ex-law enforcement person, I should say, who has just done a fabulous job in law enforcement. And Stacy, I'm glad you could join us. What are your thoughts about this whole Sean P. Diddy Combs mess?
Yes, I am. And again, when I speak, we know that these are allegations. And so we have to, he's innocent until proven guilty in the law under the courts in the United States of America. And that's in our Constitution. So, but I am, I think the allegations are egregious and gut-wrenching. Some of the testimony, it's horrendous. What I saw is, I think she started dating him at the age of 19, and I believe he's 20 years older than her, which is okay. But when you begin to manipulate people, allegedly manipulate and engage people in various types of activities, it is just it's sad. The three elements, because a lot of people are on social media and they don't quite understand trafficking, and there are three elements that must be present when someone is trafficking, which is force,
fraud or coercion. And the force is, of course, it could be physical. It could be implying that you have a weapon. It could be showing a weapon. And it could be a baseball bat, your fist, a knife, a gun. And from my understanding, when he was initially arrested, from my understanding, allegedly there were guns present at during his activities, which someone would be, of course, fear for their life, be afraid to leave. Anytime if you don't allow people to leave, that's under force. A fraud could be, hey, we're going, and this is maybe not to Cassie, but to other victims who have filed complaints against him. Fraud is, it's just you and I on a birthday trip, and we're going to Barbados, and they get there and they're met with 10 or 15 sex workers, and that's and trafficked and used and manipulated, where a sex act can occur, and where someone monetizes off of that, or a bartering is involved in that. And then there's a coercion. And the coercion, he's a very wealthy man, a very powerful man, he was very successful in the music career. So the coercion is, if you don't do this, I will not help you with your music career. You will not be able to make music in the studio. You will not, you will be blackballed. Yeah. So that is where, on those three levels, Mr. Combs, I'm quite sure his defense is fighting really hard, because those are the three elements that must be present. But the prosecution's job is to prove that force, fraud, or coercion existed. And I believe they're going to trying to get him on the coercion and on the force part. And of course, the domestic violence video that's playing, because that shows how forceful he was and how violent he was. And yes, people would say that had anything to do with the freak-offs, but from my understanding, she was trying to escape from the freak-offs when the incident happened. Again, this is all allegations. Of course, I wasn't there, but these things are coming out in court from her testimony.
How damning do you think that video is? Because it looked very graphic. And how does he get out of that? I mean, is that enough to convict him?
I tell you what. So today, from my understanding, today, some testimony. I believe it was today that the testimony came out where there was some text that says she enjoyed it, and so of course the defense will play on that. However, a good prosecutor will get in the mind of a 19-year-old, a mind of a very vulnerable person. And what is involved in trafficking is what's called Stockholm theory. And people get so attached to their trafficker. They become very attached. And sometimes, unfortunately, and people are beaten to, in real life, people are beaten, and how can I say it? They are beaten to enjoy, or to look like they enjoy what is going on. And they are pretty much, mentally, they're pretty much, how can I say, coerced or mentally, when these things happen, and when you've been manipulated and groomed into this lifestyle for so many years, and the drugs and things like that, so those things should have come out in the text where it says, hey, I'm looking for anything to please the trafficker. Right. And so right now, I can't articulate exactly what I want to say, but anything that to please that trafficker. So they're trying to play on those texts, but she was young, she was vulnerable, he was very powerful, he had the keys to her career, and so those things, a prosecutor is really going to have to fight hard with that argument.
Stacey, I just appreciate you coming on here. Stacey, did your play already show? You're doing
Say that one more time.
You were doing a play this month. Did that already show, or is it coming up?
It has already shown. I believe the Donetta Bernie's pastor would like to bring it back. I produced the play, but it was a great play. Now that play dealt with grooming, and so it was more of an internet type of issue. So no trafficking had ever occurred. The young lady was able to escape her trafficker, but it was the beginning and onset of it. The play that I wrote, A Drink Deferred, we actually got into the grooming. And it was funny because Diddy allegedly met her parents, and he pretty much showed an angelic side and got them to believe that he was a great guy for their daughter. And we have that scene written in the play. Not, of course, we wouldn't have known, and that was written years ago, 2016. So I wouldn't have known what was going on. But to show that side of a trafficker and how they appeal, they're very, very charismatic and very charming. And so I'm so glad that we wrote that in the play, because it just builds up and shows the audience the mindset of a trafficker, of course, to be charming. And we know what scripture says about charm and things like that. But yes, to be ultimately trafficked. And so sometimes they can charm and the family, sometimes families are paid off. I hope the family hasn't been paid off to turn their heads on the abuse, but maybe perhaps she was coerced to not tell and disclose of the abuse.
Well, Stacey, that is the reason why I asked that question about your play, because I know that you typically show your plays typically deal with these kind of issues. I wish we had more time tonight to enlighten our audience, but thank you again so much for
You're welcome.
In.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And we'll have you back soon, because you have so much to offer.
Yes, looking forward to it. Thank you so much again. I appreciate you.
All right.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. And that was Stacey Johnson, playwright and a law enforcement person who has just done an incredible job in the Metro Detroit area, and much success to her in all of her endeavors. Well, we'll see what happens with Mr. Combs. By the way, do you know what a babalawo is?
That's a priest.
That's a priest. Wait, well, no, wait a minute. Were you looking at my notes?
I already knew that.
She already knew.
I already knew that.
All right, look, here's the deal. You guys know that in many weeks, recent weeks, I should say, many people were calling in and they were talking and commenting about the movie Sinners, and many were saying that it was demonic, etc., and all that sort of stuff. Listen, I'm not saying it's one way or the other, but I am saying this. Michael B. Jordan was quoted, and public knowledge that he was quoted saying that he's a babalawo, and as you pointed out, that's a trained priest and a diviner in the Yoruba religion of
Yoruba.
You want to say Yoruba? Yoruba?
Yeah, Yoruba.
Not Yoruba, but
Yoruba.
Yoruba. Okay, see, I can be correct. See, you know what? That's what happens when you sit next to a very intelligent person.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, correct. But in any event, they are known for their expertise in Ifa, divination, which of course is a system that's used for seeking guidance and advice on various life matters. They act as intermediaries between humans and the spiritual world. Of course, a lot of church people have a problem with that, because I think the scripture talks about Jesus being our intermediary. And but they offer counsel and guidance and healing through their knowledge of Ifa and traditional healing practices. Now, research shows also that they do practice communicating with the dead, and more intellectually speaking, our ancestors. And people have a lot of problems with that. So I don't know about talking to dead people. I don't know. Michael B. Jordan, and again, as I said in this recent interview, he confessed that he was the babalawo, and the god of the Yoruba. Did I say that right this time?
Yoruba.
Yoruba. You gotta get the syllable in the right place. The accent, Mark. Yoruba. Okay, I got it. All right. In any event, the god of the Yoruba people is called Olorum, who is credited with creating the universe and every living thing. They don't believe in a heaven or hell. They believe in reincarnation. I think that's enough to drive a lot of Christians crazy. And that's probably why, and I'm not trying to defend either side, but that's probably why a lot of Christians had a problem with this particular movie. Your thoughts? She's breathing in the microphone.
Well, you know me, I'm always going to play devil's advocate. So, I will always say that I feel like when people lack understanding, they shun things.
Okay.
So there is over 200 and something thousand religions in the world. And if we're being honest, we don't know what the real true religion is until we know.
Okay.
And that's when we pass away into our afterlife, whatever that may be, whether it's heaven, whether it's hell, whether it's with the ancestors, or whatever the case may be, whether it's reincarnation. We don't know. I personally believe in reincarnation.
You do?
I do.
So you were here before? I'm not being facetious, but you think you were here before?
I don't know. I'm not for sure if I was here before, but I do know that spirit does not die.
Mm-hmm. Well, the spirit, I think most people agree that the spirit doesn't die, but aren't you afraid of coming back as a frog? Or
no, because we wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know?
No, you would not know what you're coming back as.
Okay.
So I'm not afraid of that. Whatever, I believe that we're put on earth or in whatever life we're living to teach us a lesson.
Okay.
So, not knocking anybody's religion, not knocking what they practice. As long as you practice your spirituality wholeheartedly, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, we're not here to obviously debate religion as such. You want to talk about that, you can tune into my broadcast on Monday night at 8 p.m. And that's called Living the Word. But so we're not here to necessarily debate that, but I did bring this up because a lot of people had problems with this particular movie, Sinners, and that was probably the reason they had problems, because of this kind of thing. Now, on another note, actor Will Smith, he turned down the chance of playing the lead role in the movie. What was it called?
Django.
Mm-hmm. What is the D silent? I'm asking.
It's silent.
The
yes.
D is, again, the intellectual, sagacious one says that the D is silent.
I learned from the best.
Django. Okay. So anyway, he turned down that lead role because he felt that the creative direction of the movie wasn't the way he saw it or wanted it to be. And he and Quentin Tarantino, they sat down for hours discussing the role. And Smith was quoted as saying that that this story had to be a love story, and not a story about vengeance, as such. And so that's why he turned down the role, because he saw it as a story of vengeance. And he went on to say, hey, it's got to be about love. And so but that was a very, very well done movie. I mean, you can say what you want to say, but
I thought it was really good. And I thought they portrayed the love. Like, he literally went back for the love of his life.
Yes.
So I believe they portrayed what needed to be portrayed in that movie.
And and that's why I brought this up, because I understand what Will Smith is saying, but I thought that, like you just pointed out, I thought that the love thing was pretty pronounced. I mean, he was always looking for that woman, that special. I mean, oh my God, it was so good. It was a great movie, and Jamie Foxx did a fabulous job.
Oh, he killed it.
Yeah, but here's what Spike Lee said. Here's what Mr. Spike Lee. Y'all know Spike Lee, the one who sits at the New York Knicks games, oftentimes in costumes that I'm not so sure is respectful or whatever, but in any event, he says that Django Unchained was disrespectful to his ancestors. I wonder if anybody can explain that. He said it was disrespectful to his ancestors. And by the way, he said this without having ever seen the film. And
okay.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Maybe he said that because a white director was the one that wrote it and directed it, and I don't know, but I didn't.
Is it one of those things? Well, how can a white man write a black story? Is it? You think it's something like that?
Something like that, possibly.
That's terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible. Well, I don't know, Mr. Spike Lee. I have enjoyed your movies over the years, and I think we all have something to learn when it comes to the whole movie scene. Detroit is really, really. Really going at it hard with movies. And again, like I said earlier, I applaud all the people out there who are making movies, doing movies. But remember this, okay? What we really need in the movie industry are good stories. We need good stories that people can think about. And don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that there are no good movies out there. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying we need good stories. And if you are entertained just by seeing some of the content that we normally see in a lot of these movies, then fine, so be it. I'm not against you. I just know for me, I need to see a good storyline. I don't know how you feel out there. 313-859-8858. Maybe you have a comment that you would like to make. I'm not sure if we got any reels or whatever that we were going to show, but we'll do that on next week. You know, that some things that we were going to show you tonight, some funny reels. We're going to bring that into next week's broadcast. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're going to continue to do what we've been doing. I know that, and this will be our last topic for the evening. I had mentioned earlier that it seems like racism is spiking out of control once again. And it's just becoming so annoying. I'm thinking about this gentleman, Rodney Hinton Jr., whose son was killed by police, and he took it upon himself to do an eye for an eye, you know, and he ran over a law enforcement officer, and of course now is facing a lot of jail time, you know, a lot of jail time. But he was angry, and I think a lot of people are angry, and I certainly wouldn't want to see any of you guys go out there taking, the
Bible says an eye for an eye.
Well, it says that, but if I'm not mistaken, there's a scripture that says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I will repay. So you got to be a little bit careful. And I just think it can cause a lot of unrest if we are not careful with that kind of thing. If we adopted that theory, eye for an eye, because we'd all be killing each other, which we just can't go down that road again.
And
we just can't.
I agree with that. I look at it as he took justice into his own hands. I'm not going to look at it as vengeance. I believe he took justice into his own hands, because 9 times out of 10, the justice system is not for us. Yeah. So as many police officers that have gotten off for killing these young Black men, and they laugh in our face about it and they taunt us, it's like, it's I believe he just did not want to experience that, having to go through the whole let's go to trial and convictions, and they don't get convicted. So it's like, when you get to that point of where you cannot control your emotions or it overtakes, I get that. Grief is a difficult thing, and a lot of people do not grieve properly. And so when you don't know how to grieve properly, 9 times out of 10, you are going to act out or do things that you wouldn't normally do.
That is so true. Very, very true. Well, I feel very sorry for Mr. Hinton because, again, he lost his son, and so many people out there have lost their children to police brutality. We saw it with George Floyd. We saw it with so many young Black people, and it's just a shame that it keeps happening over and over, and we can't seem to get it out of our system, And what angers me the most is that while all of this is going on, you have our government led by Mr. Trump constantly enriching themselves off the backs of the people. Well, it's pretty tough. I don't know if we have any closing comments.
Yeah, we got a couple comments.
Let's hear them.
Let's see. Corey, he gave us a smile, a wink. Keith P. Jason, he said, TJ, I saw you running today. He also said, if Christian means, quote unquote, like Christ, at what point do Christians get to be like the Jesus who flipped tables and beat the people out of the temple?
Interesting. Keith Jason always has some very interesting remarks, very intelligent young man. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but
okay, so Ed said, all police are not bad. I served in Detroit and retired. These actions come from the lack of investigation before they get on the job. And I agree that all police are not bad. However, in the same token, we cannot negate the people that are bad. And when you get into a little position of power, that, even if they do investigate them beforehand, a lot of times when you get into a position of power, you take that and you
when
don't
you
know
get into
how
a little
to
position of power,
act, you
that,
don't know how to,
even if
you don't know how to control yourself, because power, as we've been talking about, like with Trump, it's never ending.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a gray scale there. It's not always so black and white with things. And, we learn not to trust police, our people, because they started off as the overseers in the fields. And that's where police were developed at. Then they got the badges and they got the titles and things like that. So, and then we were not allowed to be police officers for years and years and years. And then they finally let us into the force. So we have to take into consideration where it was built from.
Well, in our history, the history of our country, unfortunately, has been a very violent one, one that offers a lot of promises. But unfortunately, a lot of those promises were very much slanted toward people. And you know what I'm talking about. Okay. They weren't slanted toward our people. It's a shame. And I'm just praying that, I don't know if I'll see it in my lifetime in the sense of our people being on par with everybody else, but we got to keep trying for the kids, for the grandkids. And because it's just a shame. These atrocities should not continue. Well, you're listening to 313 Unscripted. And again, I'm TJ Henfield. And we're going to close out with a little music from P. Diddy. And did I say she cracked up because I said P. Diddy. See, she didn't realize I was actually trying to see if I can get a reaction from her, and I did. We're gonna get some music.
What?
Okay, we're gonna get some music from PZ Hemphill. You like that one, huh?
TJ, you are too funny.
Hemphill, Paul Germain, my son. This guy is a tremendous writer, producer. You're going to hear his songs and his music in the coming months. He's coming out with a new project. Make sure that you get it, okay? I don't think P. Diddy is going to be doing any music anytime soon.
Absolutely not.
Thank you, Detroit, for joining us. Again, I'm TJ Hemphill.
And I'm Kimmy Kimmett.
We'll see you next week.